So the lesson I learned going out last night is that you have to be willing to show your value, right? So just for background and context, right? Went out last night, uh, Saturday, January 11th, 2025, right? Went out to like this social meetup, right? So kind of big turnout, big crowd, 100 plus people, but I also knew a lot of the people going in, right? I've been kind of going to this social group for a while, several times. So I've met a number of different people in those kind of previous meetings, right? Went there, interacted with people, met a few new people, some of whom were women who I thought were potentially interested, right? Potentially. Um, yeah, potentially. I felt like they liked me, but I also, saw them talking to other people, and I was also talking to other people, so it's no harm with that. But just, I think they're interested, but I'm also a little bit unsure of how much, right? I didn't feel like it was like definite, but I felt like it was also not nothing. So I'll put it at that. So, anyways, night goes on, end up talking to people, mingling, whatever. Um, of course, in talking with the other bros and just in what I planned on doing if the other bros weren't there, but they were. We already had plans to bounce to some place that was a little more high energy, right? So this first place, like a little kind of small low key bar. There was a DJ playing there, so there was music, but there was no dance floor. Um, and although there were a lot of people, at times kind of shoulder to shoulder, pretty much standing room only. Pretty much there were some seats that some people were in, but um, not like the second place we went to. Second place we went to a huge dance floor, very high energy, drunk crowd. But that's the kind of good time that I like. So and also feel like good way to meet people. So taking some folks back from the first place to the second, right? Also in the first place is a woman I've been kind of talking to for a while and am a little closer with, right? So as we're walking to the second place, um, I give her my jacket and kind of am kind of walking arm in arm with her. And so some people notice that and comment on it. Um, and I feel like I also saw some of the women I thought were interested before, potentially interested, notice it as well. Once we get to second place, she and I end up kissing for a little bit, right? And again, some of the folks who are like my friends, but who don't know me as well, we're cool. We're like acquaintances becoming friends. Maybe that's a good way to say it. But I like them. They they're happy for me, and I can see that they're happy for me. Like, okay, go ahead, Jamal. I see you making it happen. Kissing her or whatever. Um, and like, I appreciate that they were happy for me, but also in my mind, it's like, this ain't nothing new. I'm sorry to say this. I feel like a jerk, but I gotta keep it real with you guys. I gotta keep it real with you. I'm gonna be honest, yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Like they're like, cheering me, kissing this girl in the club and making out with her, and it's like, if you all would have been out with me last weekend, I was doing the exact same shit with a different girl, just one that I didn't know as well. So, like, you can be happy for me and all, but also like them being that happy for me also kind of illustrated, and this is like the point that I mentioned in the beginning, kind of illustrated that they didn't recognize or really, I guess, think it would be the case that like this is kind of something I can do often, or um, at least isn't to me wasn't that big of a deal because it's relatively common. So, and I feel like that is kind of the bigger point as well, is that you want people to appreciate you and recognize your value. And in my case, in the past, I would have been hesitant to show my interest in one girl because I felt like other girls that were maybe potentially interested would look at that and be like, and judge me negatively because of it, right? Oh, he's interested in her, and so I'm not gonna talk to him anymore. And in one hand, that may be the case, and those are kind of the consequences you have to live with. And another perspective also that I feel like I'm leading into is that um, that doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing, right? Because what it also shows is that you are kind of giving them, or in a way, showing your value, showing your, even if it's not your value, just what your life is really like. And that gives people a chance to understand you better and to then act accordingly if they're going to be a part of your life, right? So, now these other women may lose interest, but, and that's fine. You know, those are consequences. You gotta live with it. It is what it is. If they don't, and they're still kind of interested or become more interested over time, it's also like, hey, you saw me, kissing this other girl or talking to this other girl or having pictures on Instagram with these other women or whatever. Or, hanging out with my other friends instead of hanging out with you. And so, if you're going to be in my life and if we're going to have a real positive relationship, then you'll just have to come in with that understanding, with that realization, with the recognition of that reality that, hey, I have other friends, I have other people who are interested, I have other things I could be doing with my time, and these things weigh on me. And so, um, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It gives other people a chance to interact, and some may leave, but those who stay will understand you that much more, will be kind of in a better alignment with you, right? And so you end up having kind of more positive relationships or friendships or whatever because of it. And it's, you know, I feel like that's when it's really a win-win, right? When you can be your kind of natural, authentic self, present that to others. Sure, there's some that won't like it and may leave and go away, but those who choose to stay will choose to stay because of you being you, in your full self. And that I feel like is really the goal of working on social skills, working on charisma, and working on connecting with others is not to try and make people like you, but to try and present yourself in a way that allows others to decide, are they on board or not? And for those that are on board, it's that much better because you both know that, um, you both are kind of more aware of what you're getting into and can be better as a result of it. So, long story short, again, don't be afraid to show how it is. If you're talking to different people, if you have different friends, if you're, looking at different jobs, I say go ahead and put it out there. There may be some negative consequences, but in the end, I feel like you'll be that much better off in kind of aligning yourselves with those who are more aligned with you. And that is valuable, whether it's business, relationships, friendships, otherwise. So take that lesson and you know don't spend time hiding or feeling like you're going to hurt others feelings or anything else, and stay tuned because I have more field reports coming up soon. Bye.